So, in these highs and lows, what is the most valuable piece of advice you have to now give aspiring writers?
That's an easy one. I think the mistake that most writers make is they go to an agent before they're ready. Before their manuscript is completely and thoroughly polished, it really has to be outstanding. When you when you land on an agent's desk, he's only going to give you 30 or 40 seconds and start reading. If he's not interested after that 30 or 40 seconds, it's gone. He's gone to the next one. So I can liken it to an art instructor who gives his students a homework assignment to go home and do a watercolor of a picture, and he gives them all the same picture. On Monday morning, they come into class and they put all their paintings up, and I guarantee that the art instructor is going to be able to zero in on one or two of those that just stand out from all the others. And that's kind of the way an agent works. He's looking for that one manuscript that he sees that is very polished. It says, yes, this writer's done his homework, and I'm going to keep reading.
In all of your manuscripts, which is your favorite character that you've created? Because even though they're shelved, I mean, you may still think that maybe. And now with this book out, you probably have the opportunity to get some of these other books out.
Well, it's interesting. I started writing horror. I was a horror writer when I first started, and back in 1990, I spent 3 years working on this novel, and it turned out to be 165,000 words. And Lindsay, it was just awful. It was a terrible novel. Burning this novel would have been an insult to fire.
Okay.
It was just that bad. And yes, I actually did insult fire. And it wasn't until about 1996 that I realized I was writing in the wrong genre. I was a thriller writer, not a horror writer. Now, thriller and horror, I truly believe, are close cousins. A good thriller should be edgy, should be scary, and should have elements of horror in it.
So of your 7 manuscripts, is First to Kill your favorite, or do you have something really special that you have hidden in a drawer somewhere waiting to emerge?
No, I would say First to Kill is my favorite. I definitely worked to make this the best one. The previous manuscripts, I don't know if I would ever really come back to them. I know Stephen King came back and did a lot of his first manuscripts as the Bachman books, but I don't think they're wasted time or energy. They're just they were learning curves, like an artist might have paintings that he's got in the closet, his very early work that he maybe doesn't really want to show people. I think it takes a long time to learn the craft of writing. It doesn't happen real quickly. So, to answer your question, no, I think First to Kill is my favorite. I like the previous book I wrote, but I took my editor's advice and realized that he knows what he's doing and I don't, and I'm going to shelve this and start on another one.
So your education was your first 7 manuscripts. Do you have any other writing education other than that?
I do not. No, that's what I did. I've always been a reader. I've read a lot. I read as a child, so I don't spend a lot of time watching TV. So I prefer to read a book than to watch television. So I think by reading a lot, you really can get the fundamentals of what it takes to be a writer because it's all there for you. So,
what comes first for you, the character or the story?
Me, it's a character. I like to revolve a story around a character and not the reverse.
Do you have a favorite line that you've written? Favorite line of dialogue, opening line, just a great sentence that pops?
Well, it's probably the first 2 sentences of my book that I worked very hard on. It's amazing how much time you could spend on 2 sentences. The warm glow from the cabin told a lie. The scream from within told the truth.
Ooh, good lines.
Well, you need a hook. I mean, you've got to get something that the agent says, "Wow, I like that. I want to see what this is about." And it's the opening hook. And it can be 1 sentence or it can be a paragraph, but if you don't hook that agent or editor in that first few lines, they're going to move on to the next one.
Did you outline your story?
I do use outlines, but not what I would consider an extensive outline. It's more like in paragraph form, what happens in this particular scene, and then what happens in this next scene, and then I put them onto 3x5 cards, and then I can kind of shuffle them around and move them, and so maybe a scene really doesn't need to be in this part of the book, it needs to be later on or earlier on. So by putting them onto the 3x5 cards, I can move them.